Demon, and welcome to another Prologue Episode of Philly by Night. Before we get started, we do have some content and trigger warnings to go over that this session may contain, but is not limited to, body horror, mutilation, manipulation, gaslighting, use and abuse of disciplines, raised voices, possibility of violence leading up to and including final death, possible methods of torture, starvations and the mentions thereof, and religious extremes. For your comfort and safety, your ST team has set up a series of emojis in the stoplight system. We will be doing check-ins as the session goes on. You may either state your color or post the corresponding emoji in the beta chat, as is posted. At any time, you can state your color or put it in the beta chat. If you are yellow, you head to Decompression VC if you feel compelled to do so, and a member of the admin team will be with you. If you are red, the scene stops. You will go to Decompression VC. This is not a request, it is a requirement. Any ignoring or abuse of this system is something we do not stand for. So, let's tell a vampire story. First and foremost, where do we find Colin this evening as he wakes?
This evening, as Colin Fry wakes, he comes to in a sleeping bag in a dark room, opening his eyes in the basement of a warehouse over on the west bank of the Schuylkill.
West bank of the Schuylkill.
The specific address I believe you should have pinned and in an image in my chat.
All right. So I see that he has increased to hunger 2 with his rouse. Is he making himself feel more or seem more human with a blush of life?
Looks around, not yet.
Okay.
He would check his area, do a counter surveillance check as he comes out of his sleeping bag.
All right, give me a wits and awareness.
You got it, Chief.
And remember, you're at hunger 2. All right. With 3 successes, get up, look around. Building seems fine. Seems like it's still abandoned, haven't been disturbed.
Nothing's moved. Nothing that's been around has moved. There's no signs of entry or exit. Wakes up, pulls out fake cigarette, puts between his lips. Morning, shit-ass. Anything happen while I've been out? He puts in a earbud from an old Raycon case.
I assume he's talking to the Wraith.
Kate, who can move into technology. He's listening for her.
There's a static, whispered reply of something that alludes to vagueness of like mortals passing by, but you leave me all alone all day to suffer in silence.
Yep. A little bit of isolation. Never hurt either of us. Par for the course. Anything fun happen?
I didn't kill you.
Is that really fun, though?
It might be.
I mean, it sounds like edging to me.
The only edge I want to see is the one up against his throat.
It do be like that some days. You got your game face on, ready to go for a drive?
I don't even have a face. Smartass.
I mean, you have a lovely voice for radio. Could take over a television.
Oh, goody.
You a good Bob Barker. Got that certain rough masculinity about you, girl.
So, as they continue on with their banter, what do we find Colin doing?
He goes around, he checks, safety check, probably make sure everything's in order. He rolled in last night, halfway through the evening in a sedan. He makes sure that he goes over his clothes. His clothes are secondhand, they're from a thrift shop. He has everything clean. He actually goes over his clothes. His clothes look worn, they're used, they've seen at least one person before, but they are tidy. They are in order. He goes over in his head while he banters back and forth with his friend, who he actually loves. He has performed a counter surveillance check. He's rolled out a map he got from a Walmart of Philly. He goes over his hat. He's going to have a Philly Flyers cap. He's going to pull on because he went to bed in a t-shirt. Has his own little rebellion. He throws on a press armored vest, moving around different fragments in his body from fun past memories. All right, let's look at this map. We've driven through the city briefly. We're gonna scout. We scouted the destination. We know what it looks like. Line of retreat. He sets a rally point, and he knows how he's going to leave, which is going to be a different path through the streets. I'll look at it later. That he's going to take a different route going out, and he would be basically getting assistance from his dearly departed Kate of the route out that he would take, as well as the route in, and a rally point in case something goes wrong, either coming or going, as well as go through the plan of action with Kate. If somebody's tailing us, I'm going to play it cool. You're going to hop into their vehicle, grab what you can, and I'm not losing the tail until you know where they're going and what they're doing and what information you can grab, be it from their phone or whatever you can look at in there. So from there, he's rehearsed the route. He's looked at a map and he's tried to memorize it to where he believes he is supposed to be going. And he's gone over with her the traditions and whatever etiquette he was briefed by his handler for entering the city. And after he has had a rundown of that, maybe 15, 30 minutes, he is going to get in his car and start driving.
So the overall genre of briefing he gets is one of this is not a city to have an ego in. He would be made well aware of the coup and war that just happened, and that this prince lost so much to take the city, and does not have the patience nor the time for anything he finds displeasant. He has not kept his grounds of Elysia secret. Most know that he holds his throne room and Elysium underneath the Philadelphia Museum of Art.
All right, let's get the show on the road.
So
he gets into his sedan, and after he tucks the map in the side of the driver's door, he heads on out.
So driving up into Philadelphia proper, passing by the Franklin Institute, finally coming to the parking lot for the Philadelphia Museum of Art on Benjamin Franklin Parkway. There are some streetlights about. And the Philadelphia Museum of Art, if you have not seen it, boasts this very Grecian Roman vibe mixed with some colonialism, where there are front pillars that go from the staircase up to the roof, and there are base lighting that shine up into them at night, giving it a almost golden glow, as it were. So parking and entering is not a problem. There would be, enough kindred iconography secretly hidden around to lead any even young fledgling the right direction, down beneath the grounds to a foyer, where a man, or assuming a man, stands cross-armed. It's hard to tell. It seems to have the build of somebody of the masculine variety, but due to the face and head being completely covered in a helmet, it's hard to tell. And just stands there, waiting.
Good evening, sir. Colin Fry. I'm here to see the man.
You got weapons?
Yes, sir.
Dump them.
Ammo or a weapon itself?
All of it.
Backs up, hands up, holds jacket up, pulls the entire appendix holster. He's going to find 17 mag spare, and a loaded one round in the chamber 3D printed, 3D milled metal gun. And he hands the entire thing over to him, holds out arms, legs. He looks like he's expecting to get patted down.
Yep, which he will be. Is he attempting to hide anything, or did he honestly dump everything he had?
He dumped everything he had. This is part of his job.
So he goes, does the pat down, nods approval, and then turns loudly and pounds on the door behind him.
Looks to the man, makes a mental note that he did not get a receipt, memorizes what identification he can of the person who took his weapons. Well, weapons singular, and ammo.
And then upon waiting to hear one of the three voices authorize the door to be opened after the hard knock that he gives it.
Door opens behind him. There's a vaguely feminine face with the business end of the shotgun kind of sticking out the door. Are you trying to break the door down?
Sheriff, if I wanted the door down, I'd just rip it down and beat somebody.
This is true. I believe there's a Ford Ranger somewhere that is complaining of that problem. Anyways, what the hell do you want?
New face. Introduction to the prince.
One moment. Door closes. Turns back to look at John and Alicia and makes some various hand signs that indicates, new arrival. Weapons clear.
John will give his nod and return the hand sign, giving permission for the man to enter.
And Benny just yells at the door, granted, and will basically, by the time the door opens, she'll be standing next to John with, adjudication, the well-beloved shotgun in her hand.
He'll make way, kind of gesturing for Colin to go in. Heading into the throne room, everything is marked in a lovely, pure white marble, almost linoleum color. And on the throne sits John Sexton, Prince of Philadelphia.
John is clad in crimson, his cheeks hollow, eyes subtly sunken. He looks like a blood stain in a sea of white, perched proudly atop a luxuriously carved mahogany throne. There is the subtle scent of bleach on the air. The prince will watch Colin enter with predatory, piercing hazel eyes. It is very clear, even from this distance, that the man has not affected the blush of life. Across his lap sits a sweeping, curved blade and a silver and ebony walking stick. His legs are crossed, ankle at knee. Hands in front of him, steepled at his chin, as he just watches the man enter.
Neonate ST?
Yes, sir.
Was I following the person identified as sheriff into
Yes.
the room? At what distance? At the distance that they stop, my character stops moving, whether they were in front or behind me. I kneel, both knees, head up. It is the sheriff, the security guard from outside, the doorman, and the prince inside the room.
The man with the helmet stayed outside the door, allowing the sheriff to take you in solo.
It is 3 people inside the room, which would be Colin Fry, the sheriff Benny Sork, don't know the name yet, and the prince. Correct?
I believe there's one more, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes.
A rather tall blonde woman appears to literally do so, appearing out of almost thin air, though probably closer to the curtains to one side of the foyer and entry room. And she's going to look directly down at the kneeling man and hurriedly work on adjusting the ludicrously short shorts that she is wearing. Hi. So we don't have an emissary for you yet, but you are going to have to excuse me because we don't allow ghouls and retainers in here. I mean, unless we're told in advance and unless they're animals.
The man this person has appeared in the middle of him kneeling. He has started to take off his Philadelphia Flyers cap as he was going to be in front of the prince. He kept it on until he was in the definitely kindred area. He has doffed it, and as this person speaks, he reaches, looks at her, eyebrows go up very slightly, goes to his ear slowly, and grabs the earpiece, holds it up, puts it down on the floor, and he says, "All right, wait outside. Good luck."
And
are you sure that whatever it is can do that? Because usually they can't go very far away from what keeps them, right? So did you want to leave the other thing out as well?
If that's
give me a wits and insight.
Yes, sir. I'm on hunger 2. Got you.
With 2 successes, you might be able to, like, how do they know? You're uncertain about how they know, but apparently they know how this kind of thing works. That this requires an anchor to keep it nearby.
He is still kneeling. His Philadelphia Flyers hat has gone to the floor. The earpiece that he's taken out of his right ear with his left hand has gone to the floor. He twitches. There is in his upper right eye, and he nods to the individual. This is something that he does not do lightly. Sleeve up. There will be a green sleeve underneath. He takes out a looped paracord on his wrist, and he works it. It's actually a little bit awkward for a moment or two. He makes his hand like this, gets it down. He's concerned. He's actually a little bit worried. And he holds his hand up like he doesn't know who's supposed to take it. It is a mushroomed out 5.56 by 45. And he's holding it up for an individual to take while kneeling. For a brief moment, for those with the insight to see it, he is more worried about the mushroom bullet in his hand than he is for himself.
Great. So is this giving me permission to take this?
Yes. For whoever
I
is
can
about
put
to
it
take
with the rest of your weaponry if that would make you more comfortable.
Wherever's safest. Yes, ma'am.
Your Grace, permission to take care of this aspect, and then I'll be right back.
Collect the items, give them to the Spartan.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
And she's gonna pick up the items, both the earpiece and the bracelet, and toddle on out.
He puts his hand back down.
You have to understand, Mr. Fry, we are transitioning from a war footing, and one can never be too careful, especially given the unique nature of your retainer.
Yes, sir.
Though I do greatly appreciate your compliance with my request. Tell me, Mr. Fry, you seemed to have found your way here well enough, yet you opted not to send a letter. This is not the worst breach of conduct, but I'm curious as to the logic behind it.
Yes, sir. My understanding, sir, is I am the letter. I'm here to see if you'll kill me. And that the other people who sent me are interested in your reaction.
Kill you?
Yes, sir.
I will give you a piece of advice that my sire gave me when I was young. Death is a kindness, one I do not owe you. But you may take this message to whomever it is you serve. This is a new night that has fallen in Philadelphia. When I say my city is welcoming of all, I mean it. If you come here, you uphold the masquerade, you honor the traditions, and you serve faithfully, you will have no issue in my city. That being said, you do still have a choice in the matter. You can choose not to, but you will leave in peace. Not pieces. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir. To repeat, any Hecata are free to enter the city, present themselves to you in my rephrasing of your words, and they may choose to leave again, and they will not be exterminated.
Right. As a matter of fact, there are at least 2 Hecata that reside in my city and do so unmolested. One of them even runs the local library. Now, I don't much care for all of this unnecessary groveling. Rise to your feet, soldier.
Thank you, sir. He gets up and he leaves his cap on the ground for now. He has still got his hat there. He is going to stand as he was taught at the equivalent of rest, waiting to be asked questions or spoken to.
Tell me, what is your knowledge of the traditions?
There are 6 former traditions in this new night. Previously, there were also 6, though one has changed. The 6 traditions are the masquerade, the domain, the progeny, the accounting, the hospitality, the destruction, sir.
And tell me, who has the right of destruction in a domain?
The eldest, sir.
And by your reckoning, who would the eldest in this city be?
The prince, sir.
Good. Good. It is good to see that a sire is thorough in their teachings. I have seen cities that have had lax education, and it has caused nothing but problems. So, you were sent here to gauge my city, to see what exactly it is it has to offer. So I will give you an offer of my own. I'm putting together a coterie. If you wish to see how this city operates, you may do so in service to the crown. This will earn you hospitality, this will earn you protection, and what domain you can hold. Would you find these terms amenable?
Sir, I would ask what the purpose of the coterie is, and if this is an indefinite coterie or constructed for a task.
These coteries will be indefinite. You are free to leave them, should you need to, but that would also mean leaving this city. We do not tolerate independent actors here. You can understand why. But these coteries are being formed for the sake of the security of the domain and the perpetuated existence of our kind as a whole. Philadelphia lost much during the war. It is my duty to see it repopulated.
I think that I would be willing to join such a coterie as service demands until such a time as I am recalled by my other chain of command, sir.
Of course, of course. Should your we'll call them your family. Should your family wish to see what it is my city has to offer for themselves, I only ask that they announce themselves before they enter my city. I don't take lightly to spies, and he gestures over to the shotgun-wielding mad woman beside him, nor does my sheriff.
She
Yes,
just
sir.
wins fairly.
He looks over to the sheriff and says, yes, sir, to her as well.
Now, let me see something real quick. John's gonna make a roll.
John's gonna make a few rolls today. Not all of them in this session.
Interesting. Oh, yeah, true. Later today.
We've got 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
Sounds like I'm about to be on Mr. Bones' wild ride.
Thankfully, that's just an insight check.
What would you like to know? And do I oppose this?
Is John trying to see through any kind of fakery or
John's
subversion?
looking. Yep, John's specifically looking for subterfuge.
So
I twitched my eyes a few times during that talk. What do you want to know?
is first of all, is Colin masking or trying to withhold any information? He is?
Yes.
Then I need a manipulation and subterfuge roll. That's not a fixable crit. That's a spicy meatball.
These are the perils and pitfalls of the hungry times.
Oh, I can't wait for the hungry session. That's gonna be my favorite.
When you said family, he fucking detested that word.
Yeah, I feel like Colin would almost have a visible physical reaction that is with like disdain or sickness that John would absolutely pick up on.
I twitched up here, and there was a partial sneer I was trying to emulate when I did this, and I did it 3 times that I could attempt with my face partially glued shut, and he was standing there looking at him. Let's see. Earlier, you were talking about safety. There were 2 Hecata. When you said 2 Hecata, he was taking notes because he didn't know that. Coffee. Good job. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm wireless. You guys keep going.
Kendall?
Thank you. Yep.
He absolutely has been keeping track. He is smart. He is being polite. He absolutely does not trust anyone in this room. He knows that he's here to see if he's going to fucking die. And he did not appreciate that. He has been watching entrances and exits and trying to hide it this entire time. If I don't anticipate there being windows in this room. If he were in this room, he would want to be towards a corner. He has been keeping track of pillars that you mentioned, Greco-Roman, sunlit looking backlit pillars. He knows you're hungry. He knows there is at least one obfuscated person in this room. He knows that he is unarmed. He has been keeping track of how many footsteps he has taken into this room. He is the sort of person who has worked backwards his line of retreat. He does not trust anyone in this room. And
John,
probably the strongest reaction was that disgust when you said anger. And he also doesn't trust the 2 Hecata. He doesn't know them. He didn't know they were in the city. So either he's been a mushroom kept in the dark and fed shit, or he's got a beef with Hecata, or maybe both. You are a very perceptive person.
Oh, that's one of the great things about John is that he is a very perceptive person, but that is a double-edged sword.
Hey, Prince Sexton.
You there?
How do you feel about that clan compulsion?
We do love the clan compulsion. Okay. So let me just double check here.
Even SPCs and NPCs are not safe from messy crits in the brain.
This is interesting.
Penalties from.
You have a troupe of actors you can use to play SPCs, which I've not seen before.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm not the only one about to have a fun time, I think.
Oh yeah, no. The storytellers absolutely punish one another through, SPCs as often as we can.
He's standing because he was told to get off his knees,
Yep. We are legion, for we are many. But John just sneers as he looks over Mr. Fry. I will give you one option. No, chance. I will give you one chance, and one chance only. Do not lie to me. Do not conceal from me in my domain. Speak plainly in my presence and tell me why a Nagaraja has come to my city. Certainly not as bait. And remember, if you are not honest with me, I will drag the truth from you.
Hey, Neonate STC.
Yes.
Would you say that at this first, having accepted the current deal of serve the prince and being a coterie that he will assign, that I am, in exchange for hospitality, I have been paid for a task.
I could say that.
There has been an exchange of goods and services.
In a sense, more an ultimatum.
Oh, would you say that my survival is currently threatened?
Only if you choose to withhold information.
Yeah, I got something for you, John. Yes, sir. I don't know everything, sir. I am not entirely certain. What I think is that I'm here for multiple goals. I think there are people watching you, and that I am always going to be watched. My suspicion is that as you were able to detect my accomplice, there's somebody watching me. And by extension, every time that I am with somebody, somebody's watching them as well. Be it you, the other two Hecata that I did not know about, or other members of your city. I think that you and I are being tested. What else would you like to know, sir?
Oh, wise and mighty ST, would you consider that a compliance with the order?
Assuming that Colin has been completely forthcoming in the information.
If my survival's threatened and you've paid me, what do you want to know? That he's given you.
Yeah. I believe so in my mind, I feel like you would see a physical shift in Colin's demeanor and the sense of, oh shit, he knows way more than I give him credit for. I need to give him everything, or I might not walk out of here. So that would fulfill the orders John gave.
Excellent. There is almost an amused expression that crosses John's face. There are always eyes upon me, Mr. Fry. I came to power through unconventional means. After all, it is not every night a war is fought for a city. I am no stranger to surveillance. Before I returned to this city, I resided in a city with a great deal of surveillance. Unnecessary in some regards. I appreciate your candor. I do. And I will be plain with you. Any reports you send outside of my city will be filed in duplicate with my sheriff. Is that understood?
Yes, sir. I have questions, sir.
I have answers. Let's hope they match.
Can you tell if anyone who's followed me, since you could detect my accomplice, is of their nature and inside this room or able to surveil us currently and the words I speak?
I detected your accomplice. I have been watching. We don't
She was
have
gone, wasn't
an
she?
emissary yet.
Is the voice coming from nowhere, or is he...
No, this
The
is
voice
the
has come from the same
young
blonde woman.
So she's in front of me and has never disappeared. I thought she vanished at one point again.
She came back. She had
Yeah.
slipped off to take your things out of the room and then came back in.
She handed it off to the doorman that the prince referred to as the Spartan.
He would be respectfully looking towards her again instead of like, where the fuck? So he'll be looking towards her. Can you detect if anyone else of her variety is in this room that you did not approve to be in this room?
She was the only wraith in the room. Typically, they announced themselves. This one did not. And I could see the fetter on your wrist.
His tongue runs along the scar on the inside of his cheek. What are priorities, sir, that you would not want sent back? One of the things that I believe
Oh no.
I would be graded on.
See, that is the thing. I do not wish for you to conceal any goings on you find in this city. I merely wish for any reports that you send outside of my city to also be delivered to my sheriff. I have nothing to hide, Mr. Fry, but I do like to know what is being said about my city. We have a rather robust information network here. And you may find at some point, should you prove capable, that it is a very lucrative network to be part of. Consider this a job interview. You are not to conceal anything you find from my city. As far as I am concerned, I am an open book here. Secrets, Mr. Fry, tend to get princes dethroned rapidly. And I am here to prove that I am a competent and capable sovereign, not one who must rely on subterfuge and trickery.
Understood, sir. To reiterate, I'll be sending everything to you, including mortal and other than mortal associates of all vampires I encounter, to you verbatim as I've written to my handler.
Yes. He'll glance over at Benny. He's a sharp one. Good addition to the city.
Yeah, I'll have to get a bigger file cabinet.
He will reach into his jacket and produce 2 business cards. One being for the Sunshine Cleaners, the other for a law firm, Harrison and Company. There is relevant contact information, and these cards on the back of the Harrison and Company and the back of the Sunshine Cleaners cards are handwritten, 1 phone number apiece. They both read M.F and a phone number. You may utilize the contact numbers on the back of those cards for anything you wish to keep away from prying kind eyes.
I believe I understand, sir. That explanation given, there is another thought that I have had.
By all means, you may speak freely.
He processes that for a second. I believe there is a chance they are waiting to see if I destabilize your realm, because I am Naharaya, sir. Naharaya have, to my understanding, at least those of my line, a requirement, dietary, and one that does not lead to easy feeding. Philadelphia had over 100 missing persons last year. The cases that temporarily are unresolved in all of Pennsylvania, sir, are in 5,000, but it comes down to 3 digits. If one Naharai is in your city, one that requires needing to not look a certain way that will be a breach of the first tradition, that could lead to destabilization. This might be a test to see how your government would handle that. And potentially, sir, relevant to those seeking alliance, if that works, in the case of the Promise of 1528, and if that does not work and your government cannot handle the existence of one of my kind, to benefit off of destabilization, so even in loss they win, potentially.
That's going to get really expensive for you, isn't it?
Expensive how, ma'am? Sir.
Man.
I mean, if you can't hide your own feeding type, that's going to get expensive for you to have somebody have to help you every single time, isn't it?
Help, ma'am?
We have a small coterie here in the city that helps clean up unfortunate business. That would be the Sunshine Cleaners card as well. Though this service is not free. Are you familiar with the prestation system?
Yes, sir.
Good, good. Money, you understand. When a man lives long enough, he no longer has need for mundane things like currency, gold, jewels. It is favors, information that is the currency of these nights. So, if you find yourself in a messy spot, you can call upon the services of my cleanup coterie, and they will assist you. It will cost you in boons, of course, but they are thorough individuals quite adept at making problems disappear. I should know. I trained one of them personally.
I'd say we shine a light on that which needs to disappear, Bryony will say, and then she'll produce a third business card and hand it to John to hand it to this individual. And it's the Meals on Wheels. Perhaps maybe it's better to see if they are willing to help him with his particular feeding type so we don't get into a situation before it happens.
Of course. And John will hand this off as well. It does look like a standard Meals on Wheels business card, but it doesn't contain any of the standard Meals on Wheels contact information. This is it reads almost like a feeding, a kind of a coterie that specializes in helping other kindred feed. And if I am not mistaken, your particular dietary restrictions, we should be able to accommodate. He'll look over at Stephra. Can't we?
Yes, Your Grace, one way or another, though, again, frequent use of the emergency services does tend to get expensive.
No. I was thinking perhaps putting him in touch with the local mortuary system, setting him up with a business and allowing him to feed himself, maybe more amenable than having him call upon emergency services night after night.
Oh, you mean the night job, other than the court one. Yes, I think we can manage.
Good. As for any unfortunate appearances, there are varied low-tech means of moving about the city without drawing undue attention. We do, however, after all, live in a post-COVID world. Face masks, neck gaiters, things of that variety are quite common. If you do not possess these items, I am almost certain we can point you in the direction of any one of Philadelphia's fine bodegas and allow you to equip yourself reasonably.
Yes, sir. I came prepared in this manner, sir. He opens his jacket very slightly. First, hands off. He nods to Benny. Jacket comes up. You see briefly the level 4 plate carrier, which is funny because we don't normally have to wear that. And the top V reveals something that says press on top. There is a neck gaiter that he can pull up that I do not have as part of my current cosplay. And he pulls it up, nods respectfully to those around, and he gestures with the hand to the ball cap on the floor and the hoodie that I'm not wearing for the Philadelphia Flyers that he would be able to throw over his head.
Good.
I'm not.
I will give you a bit of advice for the future. I understand your level of concern, but that vest will not help you in my court. After all, I am well equipped. You would be surprised how readily tungsten darts fly through a vest, even one with such robust protections. Trust me, Mr. Fry, had I wanted you dead, you would have been so at the door. Or during your drive through my city before you announced yourself.
Yes, sir. No, sir. This vest is for appearances, sir. People tend to get suspicious when most people walk off rounds hitting them. The fact that we can survive a round into ourselves, while helpful, doesn't fit with appearances. This does, sir.
Do you get shot often?
Yes, sir.
That is unfortunate, and perhaps something we will work on. It seems
I'd like
like
to be
this.
shot less, sir.
I can tell you from experience that while it does not stop us, it certainly does sting a great deal. Now that we have our formalities out of the way, Colin Fry, I grant you hospitality and what domain you may hold in my city. I will put you in contact with relevant parties to ensure that you are able to adequately feed yourself and keep your presence in my city to a less disruptive level than some of your fellows. A word of
Yes,
caution, though. If I so much as hear a whiff of anything remotely resembling the Talmehera, you and your ilk will be executed.
Hey, Neonate ST.
Mm-hmm.
Colin has 0 dots of occult. Colin still refers to his sire as the sire. After his little shenaniganry, he was not trusted so much with their name, never mind the Naharaya's original purpose. If the insight check is carried through the scene, there is a sort of vibe going on with Colin. He's filed it away. He hasn't said anything. He hasn't said anything at first, but because I'm going to say that, hey, don't conceal anything from me, your survival might depend on it, rolls on. After a pause, tactical pause, he says, "Sir, I have never heard of that. I don't know if I'm serving that or not."
And John, with that massive insight check, this is the truth.
That carried over.
I will appreciate your candor. I do appreciate your candor. Perhaps in your off hours, we can provide you a little bit more education in matters of the night. There is a library that I can put you in contact with. My child runs it. He is quite a student of our history. Perhaps you will find more context to that particular organization within its walls. But for now, I should ask you to collect your things and to depart. I have other matters of state to tend to.
Yes, and even without an insight or awareness check, it is
I'm
almost
gonna go.
palpable that the beast within John is swelling.
Collect hat, and he is going to back out of the room. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Have a good evening, sir.
He's going to back into not the door.
He's gonna. So all the insighty people, God, and he is going to stop and wait for if somebody is going to direct him out of the room at this juncture.
I mean, the prince already told you to go, so
There's some noise, and it sounds like someone wearing an awful lot of armor is standing away from the door.
You're gonna hit me with it. All right. He turns around.
And there is an 8-foot-tall individual in black and blood red armor with 6 arms.
Benny kind of has
Get back
come
on
up
my
the-
knees again, and this is what happened.
And then he comes up beside the poor guy and just kind of pats him on the shoulders. He's on his knees and goes, Colin, this is a seneschal. Seneschal,
And
Colin Fry.
with that trigger warning, G'day, do you mind pushing the button?
Oh, here we go.
I
Trigger
am.
warning, clicker sounds.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
And the blonde woman is gonna come up and like try to get Colin up on his feet, and
No,
likewise.
he's 5'7". He's standing. I'm kneeling right now to do the. So he says "huh"
You want
aloud.
to get up? You want to get up?
So he's standing. He's been standing the whole time. He's short though,
Okay.
and you just threw 2 extra feet and change at this boy. So
If
it's
memory
like
serves, Colin's
a
only
carrier.
about 5'6".
Colin's 5'7". I was trying to mimic. And he just backed into plate armor. So he was expecting Siofra, and then he felt it. So the information comes in backwards. Okay, I felt an impact. Okay, that feels like metal. I'm gonna turn around. And he was standing, and that's just anyone with the insight, and if they can see his face, but probably his shoulders too, coming up from the back, bringing his carrier up a little bit, is that mental. Oh fuck. We got 4 arms. We got
6. They have 6 arms.
Pardon, 6 arms.
Mm-hmm.
Are they carrying the 3 weapons? Are they strapped?
Yeah.
What do we got? He does
They are carrying weapons.
He does a evaluation. His evaluation is this situation is not ideal. The person was quiet. As far as I know, either there was a roll in the background of whether I heard it or not, or I just did not get an opportunity to perceive. You do not perceive. So
some things are just narrative for flavor.
you don't win. You, as the great cheat says, you fucking lose.
Mm.
And he goes, "Good evening, sir." And he's interested in seeing if the person is blocking the door and if he can step around them.
Yes, they have moved to cease blocking the door. I don't think they were expecting the quick retreat.
No,
And
he was
Sifra-
dismissed. Chief is out.
Sifra is coming up to assist with the retreat.
Yeah. So that's got to be something for somebody that he's time to go. It is. He would like to collect his friend now, and he would then like to collect his appendix holster. We got 4 people, so I got to write that down. Siofra, I think, and then the seneschal, whose name he has not gotten, and it might not speak English from the language he gathered. Okay, gonna add that one to the mental list.
Right. So that's La Ranier. They're the seneschal.
He pauses and offers his hand.
They don't shake.
Understood, sir.
Right.
Shut up, Ryan.
No.
They don't. If they shake you, it generally takes more than one of their hands. See what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we're gonna just go ahead and we can collect your fetter and whatever weapons that you left with the door guy.
Mm-hmm. Understood. He's gonna just briskly go around.
And I don't.
Y'all need to stop breaking me with the names in the chat because I need to roll there and I need to keep it open.
Welcome to Philly by night. you're not safe from horror or character.
I need to stop smiling. I've actually broken the glue sealing the side of my face.
Right. So, I don't think we got really officially introduced. In any case, hi, I'm C for a she. Like I said, we don't really have a Hecata emissary right now because there just really aren't enough of us, I guess. So if you need anything, you can just call me or Rowan, I suppose.
Rowan, ma'am?
Yeah, he's the librarian that His Grace was telling you about.
Understood. That is John Sexton's child? Or
Yes,
children? Understood.
Rowan Everly, and he runs the library.
Just this is going on behind his eyes. It's getting filed away in the Rolodex. And he's like, understood. At what times can I approach the library? And what times are you available? He's asking for office hours.
Night times? I don't think we really have working hours right now.
All right. Is there anything as my primogen? He takes a moment and then pulls the non-Hecata information out of the int storage box and that you would like me to do, having arrived at the city.
Oh, I'm not your primogen. I'm just helpful, I guess. Besides, Hecata usually don't have primogen. Usually it's an emissary situation, which is kind of the same but slightly different.
Would my politics have already known about that?
Yeah, with a 3 in politics, it's very much, and I'm gonna pull from knowledge that I'm familiar with for the meme.
Probably on my end as a character then. Okay.
Yeah, Ryan's gonna explain it in terms that Ryan's brain can do. It's very much the Anakin Skywalker of you are on this council but not granted the rank of master.
Understood. As emissary, so I do not, to my knowledge, report to you in terms of tasks that you have to assign me.
No, I'm the emissary for the clanless, not the emissary for the Hecata.
Understood. And there is no emissary for the Hecata at this time in this
Not
city.
a current,
All right.
no.
Okay.
Not
Understood.
yet.
Currently, again, out of character is me keeping track for yon boy. He reports anything directly to the prince as necessary, but he's mainly going to be filing stuff to Benny Sorkin, which I believe has been name dropped as the sheriff.
Yes.
Up until the assignment of the coterie, every coterie is assigned a shadow, which will basically be their handler.
Probably know that, though, as according to his int and politics. Got it.
It's basic kindred knowledge. Like, if you're familiar with cam going-ons, which being in and out of the cam, most kindred are familiar, even those that are not in the cam, at least kind of know what happens. Especially being of neonate age, it's like, okay, I've been alive long enough to pick some things up.
Around the block to work and do jobs for the cam as well as the baseline Hecata jobs that I've been assigned to complete.
Right. Whereas, like, the fledgling, so, like, what's a shadow?
Understood. For letters, print.
I'm one of the Hecata, is sort of.
Interesting.
So,
Nice to meet you. Sort of?
nice to meet you back. Yeah, sort of. You know what Caitiff are, right?
Yes.
You don't think it odd that a Hecata would be the emissary to the clanless?
Yes, I was interested if you were willing to provide more information freely or if I would be passively gathering that information.
Oh, I'm Magar. It's a kind of Caitiff.
No occult again. What have I got on that pulling from the knowledge box, Ryan?
Word that one more time. I got smooth brain.
Sure. Has Colin, with his no occult, ever heard of what that is, or would that be covered at all by past experience, some sort of
This would be a brand new term for Colin. Something that even some of the most experienced kindred aren't familiar with because they are very, very rare.
My apologies, ma'am. I'm not familiar with that term. Is that a different sort of cative?
So you do know cative, right? It's like what happens when an embrace just doesn't quite take.
Yes, ma'am.
Make are similar. It's just a very specific way and reason for why an embrace doesn't quite take.
Is that specifically a Hecata cative, ma'am?
Oh no, we come in lots of flavors. Kiasid only come in La Sombra.
He adds Kiasid in flavor of La Sombra cative in his head at this time.
And while she's talking, a pair of antennas sort of pop up out of her blonde hair.
So his eyes, whoop. Would you happen to be related at all to Samisi as well, ma'am?
I don't think so.
These don't look flesh crafted at all. They look, despite being non-human appendages, look very, very natural.
Gonna file that one away. He's not sure if it's appropriate to ask about that or a polite company question. He has encountered a spider, and so far, person with insect antenna. And he's like, whoop, and then back down to the eyes, like, I'm not looking at the sort of same vibe of I'm not looking at your chest, of like, I'm going to be polite and look you straight in the eyes.
My eyes are down here.
Yep, absolutely. And he's like, understood, ma'am. This is a very unique city.
Yeah, that's a word lots of people are using to describe Philadelphia, actually.
Naharaya join me down here. I think that given how unique the city is, I don't think we'd be too out of place from what I've seen so far.
No, we got mostly weird folks. But they're good folks for all of the weird.
Good. I could definitely use some of that, as could my friend. Has he gotten his earpiece back?
So we're covering that. I was just allowing that conversation to happen. So as you exit the throne room back into the foyer, the man in the helmet is sitting there just mindlessly flipping a steak, like tossing up, spinning it, catching it back in his hand. Looks over. Oh, you're not dead. Good. I was getting bored. There's a table sitting next to him. He slides a lockbox over, and when Colin opens it, all of his possessions, including the fetter, are inside.
Fetter's the first thing he picks up, back on the wrist. I don't know if it costs a rouse check to flip on unseen sense.
Sense the unseen.
Sense the unseen.
One moment. I will verify. I don't think it does. But no, that is a free action.
Flip on, and he's going to be doing another counter surveillance check of what other ghosts are around, are mortals around, because we're no longer inside the throne room. He's got cap, and he's got hood up, and if he's depending on how the counter surveillance check pings, he may be doing different actions. So I'm guessing that's going to be a good old roll, huh?
No, there's nothing really hidden there.
Okay.
Aside from your passenger that you keep with you. Nothing special.
Screws it into his ear like a good old 3M earbud. How we doing,
I
hon?
want to see something really quick. Oh no, the time for that. Okay, don't need. Yeah, there would be the cackle of the earbud. Like that one was nice.
Was he?
I
Quite
understand.
nice.
Not him. The small one.
Small? I don't know what you're talking about.
You
My
are
apologies.
tiny.
My apologies. Did my accomplice play nice and B, hopefully not very insulting.
We had a
Yeah.
nice conversation. I found out a lot about them, including the fact that they're not upset about being in the Fetter, at least not right now, which is a little unusual because most wraiths don't like being bound in that way.
Yes, ma'am. There are certain alternatives that are worse.
And there are certain benefits that they get from it.
Again,
Yes, revenge. Yes.
Let's see. I am shocked and pleased that they were able to behave themselves. Let's see. So we've added that. The small one. How tall is Siofra since she's the small one?
Seafra's 6'1".
The small
Seafra
one.
is not the small one.
Who is the small one?
Technically, compared to the other individual in the room, aside from Colin, Seafra is the next shortest.
This is so.
Not by much, but still.
In comparison to the prince and the seneschal, Seafra is small.
It may mean young or petite. I believe Seafra is very lanky and thin.
Have I been able to clock whether or not the doorman with the helmet is kindred or not?
You would assume.
Also, unnatural senses.
Yep. I don't think Sense the Unseen allows for that.
Okay.
Let me verify. Because I am not
the old mortal retainers out there. I just wanted to check.
I am not a Auspex user by nature, so I want to make sure that I do it correctly. Heightened sense of sense. No, so it does not allow you to tell what they are. This is more to see hidden things.
What skill would be used to clock whether or not an individual, even if they are blushing currently, is kindred or not?
Wits and insight.
Let's throw them bones.
Or blood sorcery, scry the soul, heightened sense, but
there's also, if you've got animalism, sense the beast.
Yep. I'm going to throw that wits insight, which is the incoming roll.
Not sure, but he's definitely not a regular mortal.
Could be possibly cool.
And this is the man that the prince referred to as the Spartan. You are able to pick that out.
No academics. He's got politics. Do I know anything in Ventru culture or clan structure that would be something like a position called the Spartan, similar to a sheriff?
Give me an intelligence and politics. We'll pick out what he knows and what he can take away from that to make sense.
It'll be a change from a 5 to a 6 this time.
So maybe in passing, maybe visiting other cities, you've heard terms like praetor or now my brain's gonna dump that.
I'm here for info dumps, man. And so's Colin.
No, like I had it all, and then my brain went smooth on. Like E4 or lictors
or Strategos,
Strategoi, but never anything resembling Spartan. It doesn't seem to be a venture. At least not with the terms you're familiar with.
All right, he's going to throw those dice and see what happens. My apologies, sir. Is that a new or old rank, I suppose, such as a Praetor? I've not heard Spartan before.
Yeah, it's a nickname.
Name.
He looks over towards Siofra. Yes. I have gotten a few nicknames in training as well. Is that a flattering one or of the unflattering variety?
That depends on which side of the fence you're on.
Which fence would that be?
Well, if you sit with the prince, it's flattering. If you stand against the Camarilla, the tower, or the prince, it's one that you should dread.
He cocks his head slightly. Is it similar to a scourge?
No. Simply a person. I've earned a reputation.
What would be a role to know a reputation? Would that be like a streetwise?
Yeah, like a wits and streetwise.
This one's back to a 5. Roll a lot of 5s.
This isn't going to be a high difficulty because or politics. Politics also works.
I'll take that 6.
Because given some of the infamy behind the character, yeah.
To me, Ryan, do we have another war crime aficionado in the room?
It's not a war crime if the Camarilla says it's okay.
That's very true. We got 3, boss.
You would know or have heard tales of a servitor that was known for their efficiency in the Sabbat Wars in New York. That they simply called the Spartan.
So Servire, I believe, with his politics, he does recognize that bad boy.
Yes.
So he's like, would you have happened to been in New York recently?
I don't think that's any of your business.
Very fair. If you have, I hope that is not someone I have sent against me or anyone I care about anytime soon. Nice to see you. Do I have a physical description of them in my head of what this person was supposed to look like? Again, knowing that this person has a helmet and I believe a jacket on, so.
The black helmet, a bomber style jacket, think like Dean Winchester style, and a Spartan Zephos, the sword.
Yeah.
Yes, as posted in the outfit.
Is that a face mask or a helmet?
That is a full helmet.
So it's not just a ballistic mask, it's going full on, just enclose him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's something he'll be keeping track
of. Yeah, it's very Red Hood style, but it's black instead.
Servire, with my politics, do I happen to know if this person's keeping an eye, not necessarily serving John, though serving John, or if he's here to keep an eye on John?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B, maybe a hidden C column.
Interesting. That's going to be something he's going to be clicking. Yeah, I know. Porque no los dos, Coterie Doc. I have completely opened this now. Okay, too much smiling.
Servires serve the Archons, which then serve the Justicars and are extensions of the Tower's authority, are often used for infiltration, war parties, keeping eyes on new courts, serving courts that are in need, if the Tower deems them a necessary resource. And then there's always the kindred nature of, we don't know why he's here. There could be something else behind the scenes.
Yep, we got that Camarilla going on. We're starting early, aren't we? Of, the webs we weave and the different chains of command we have. Yep, it's like a deputy marshal. A deputy marshal and a marshal is my understanding, Kendall. So, you're like, your boss in town?
That's above your pay grade.
Yes, it is. Fair enough. When I looked at him, can I get an insight for any reaction whatsoever, or yes or no, or a maybe, or a you can go fuck yourself as I enjoy myself sitting here and having a not your business chat.
What do you mean? So what are you looking for?
Can I get a read on whether or not his boss is in town, or if he's a deputy scattered and there's like a surveyor here to maybe call in the boss if they're not here, whoever this surveyor serves.
I mean,
you can also just flat say no, similar to Jan Clicky Boy.
It's one of those things that you could try to get a read on with wits and insight, but he also didn't lie about it. He just said it's none of your damn business.
I can attempt to get the read on it, knowing that the difficulty is going to be high. Colin is attempting to do the job as thoroughly as possible.
Okay.
So I believe that is what he would do. It's not going to be a lot of fives. It's going to keep trying. What do we got? Nope, that's still fine. Not passing, but still not as bad as it could have gotten.
You're not sure. He's very close-lipped about it, as any survivor probably would be. The movements of Archons are not openly expressed. Without a unless they want to be.
Because that serves a purpose too if you want to potentially flush somebody out of hiding and see if they run.
I just need to get one thing because technically that's a bestial. I need a chart.
I thought that I had to get two. Did I? Or is it just one and you have fun?
No, it's if you get a single one but not meet the difficulty for the roll, it is a bestial fail.
Okay. Let's have fun.
I need... Let's see. Where are the compulsion? Now, if the books could be put together in a way that makes sense. 208. Let's see what Colin's going to have in his head for the rest of the evening.
Yup. Let's have fun. Let's meet in character that fun voice in his head, necessarily, that we have spoken about. So it's a 1d10, it looks like. And if you get a 0, my clan compulsion is in Cults of the Blood Gods on...
Yeah, it's on your sheet, too.
Yeah. I was just going to page invert you.
That's why I like those sheets. It autofills. And I always have your character sheets up here, so I can pull from it. But that one, that would be really hard. Especially given the time constraints we have. So I'm not going to hit you with that. I am, however, going to hit you with the paranoia compulsion, as secrets are being kept from you.
Oh, that fits. All right. Talk to me. Let's see that spiritual tapeworm. What is the thing like in this table and this server?
So, paranoia compulsion. The vampire tries to disengage from any perceived threat, suspecting anyone and anything. Any action not taken towards that immediate end incurs a 2 dice penalty. And I'm going to say that given that this man's demeanor is a don't fuck with me, and he is the one keeping the secrets, this man gives off an aura of terror that Colin, being a rather paranoid individual to begin with, is like, nope, no thank you. I'm good. I want to go now.
He's got his piece. He's got his friend, though he will not call her that. And he's going to be like, thank you for your time. I'll be going now. I'm going to do an immediate counter surveillance check. And I think that my character at this juncture is going to blush of life because he's going to start looking for mortal retainers of this individual. He's going to start looking for police. He's going to start looking for vampires. He's going to start, if he can, unseen sense, flip on and flip off to see whether or not we get to have fun with the beast. whether or not he's being followed. So we're going to start with that rouse check. Here we go.
Alrighty.
So do we have a rouse button? We do.
Yeah, you can always just put, hunger 3.
We're at 3 now. Ladies and gentlemen, it has occurred.
Oh,
Colin.
right.
So I'm going to, again, open up an image.
Trigger warning
Colin?
for the beta.
Corpse-like. Trigger warning for the beta chat, corpse-like, and description of injury, possibly fleshy vibes. It is on my... You better be...
Yes, as Colin now has
going to
the light, what little lifelike visage he had going for him withers and melts away.
There is a moment where the blush of life has started to come up as Colin has started to back away. He's got his appendix holster in. He's got his jacket on. You have, for those who can perceive it, an instant of blush of life, and it's gone. And as it recedes, you don't see the old Colin of he's just got a scar. He's got his normal pale blue eyes that have that sort of faraway stare. His hair starts to get dry. His face starts to droop and then pull in, and both have a texture of dry and wetness and would look as though it would start leaving pieces of itself. You see a gray pallor, the beginning in rapid succession of bloat of the body, and then recession, as there is a rapid, very fast appearance of decomposition. If this corpse were to be picked off of a couch in a summer, it would fall apart in two people's hands. You have the eyes turn white, and the teeth start to space and hang in the gums. As he's already got this, it is a rehearsed move. He feels it. Gator up, hood over the cap that was on after he exited the room and had put it back on in respect. Left the room. He's now got gator, hat, hoodie over top. Excuse me, I have to be going. And his voice has changed from just the normal to this is a corpse that died screaming. And he has just said a very few words, and he is out.
This might be enough to make a Bruto cringe.
Cipro will be following, not quite chasing.
In his head, why is she following me? Why is she following me? Why is she following me? Entrances and exits. What do we got for lines of fire? And then he's got so this is the Philadelphia Museum of Art. He's in the above ground area. I'm guessing there's like windows to start with.
Yep. If we scroll back, Einar had posted a picture of the outside at night. I don't know if he can link that for us real quick.
Man starting to zigzag. And
give me just 1 second. Yeah, I can do that.
Getting to his car, we're now doing counter surveillance check again. He's outside. He's got the Philadelphia Flyers hoodie and hat on. There's an individual following him, and he's like, "Go!" And what do we got? We're gonna throw that.
Actually, it's just faster for me to repost it.
Yeah, also a thing. There you go. And this is a...
You had me throw wits awareness last time, correct?
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be 3 hunger now.
Mm-hmm. 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 Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's 1, but it's also not turned into something horrific.
That's a total failure, but it's not a bestial fail. So, it's... He doesn't see anything that he didn't see on the way in.
To the car, he turns the car on as he gets in. Drive. Take 2 wrong turns. And then, while his friend is going to be driving the car, his sole job is going to be, while he's down, he's got the heat cranked. Thermal imaging cameras can't see through glass, but he, 1, doesn't like cold because it reminds him of things, and 2, he wants to have, because he can't blush now, he can't risk it. His body temperature start to ambiently go up like a cold-blooded creature. And he's trying to soak it up. The inside of that car is going to start baking. So you've got this man who's going to be in its whatever month right now, and he's in a hoodie, hat, cranked the heat, and he's starting to have his retainer take over and drive the car. And his whole job is going to be, if I were doing it, resolve investigation, because this entire time, his focus, distractions or not, is going to be on tails.
Okay.
Retainer takes over the drive. He's going to be on watch. May.
Yeah,
So it's the month of May, and he's cranked the heat too. He's gone into full light. He's gone probably DEFCON 3 or 2 at this point.
So, driving away, taking a couple left turns or wrong turns. And he does that driving before the Wraith takes over, right?
No, he's inside the car. He's locked the doors. They're the one driving. He's the one.
All right.
Watch.
That's all I needed to know. Let me
So
do it.
he would be throwing any drive bones, and I will be driving. I will be throwing any counter and stuff. The first thing she's going to do is go off of that line of retreat and take a couple wrong turns, and then she's going to go to the rally point.
Oh no. Well, I'll give her a chance. Okay. She doesn't crash the car. So, with 3 successes and you looking out, no one followed you from the museum after you got in the car? Sifra seemed to turn around and return back inside. A look of confusion on her face.
He files that away. Why is she confused?
I know why she's confused.
I know you do. Nick, Booker does too, probably. Everything is a question that could potentially end in a bullet or several in him, or worse.
But with the driving that Kate does, getting you away, you're relatively calm that you're not being followed and that you are now safe.
Okay. All right. There's been several wrong turns to see if anyone was following him was thrown off. We've hit the rally point and it had the defensive position. We watched while backed in a parking garage or something. We gave it a good 30 minutes and then we gonna be pulling out. All right, I got the car. Oh, okay. Turns on the radio and put on whatever station she wants for now, and he's gonna be back to more condition yellow of aware, but not activated.
All right. Now, is he heading back to his warehouse, or is he going out to feed? And it would also strike him that he did hear about a Meals on Wheels.
My paranoia is currently gone, correct?
Yes.
I think that he's gonna test that as opposed to doing his own hunt and making somebody unfortunately get in a car accident and disappear. So he's gonna test that and not think it's a fucking conspiracy. They're out to get me. I'm calling in a hit on my own location. So he is going to look at that Meals on Wheels card again, and he's going to see the any instructions or something. He's going to crank out one of his burners. He's got no SIM card. It is an old BlackBerry. It's got actual keys on it. And it does not text, it calls. And it can be activated without blush of life because that normally requires heat from the human body. So he's going to crank that in.
Right, and calls the Meals on Wheels.
Who picks up? Or does anyone?
Yeah, does Sifra answer the phone, or is it someone else?
It would be someone else on
That'd be
the
funny.
line. Right. Who am I talking to?
Good evening, this is Colin.
Alrighty. What you need?
Meal of more chunky variety delivered to address. He gives address a couple blocks away from his location where it would be accessible within a 5-minute drive. Picks a random direction. Drop off if
Right.
possible.
So you're new, right?
Introduce
Okay.
today.
Yeah. We already had a driver out to your location. You're probably just gonna want to meet him at that there warehouse.
Understood. He files it. 1. There's already somebody who's dropped something off. I don't know if it's a gift or something that would be. You are already in debt for a payment. 2. They got his address, and they had it before he introduced where it was or said anything. So that he's like, shut up, not the paranoia. Be quiet. It's fine. We're done with that. We're moving on now. But he's filing it away, and I'm gonna file that away as well. Understood. Is there
And
anything I need to do for etiquette and pickup?
nah, any kind of contract or whatever that amount and payment, your delivery driver can note down for you.
Understood. I'll meet them there. Thank you for your time.
Welcome to Philadelphia.
Fuck you too, good day.
Click.
Clicked.
So now realizing this, has he left the car and gone inside the warehouse?
He wasn't there yet. He was going to a randomly determined block 5 minutes away. Just gonna slowly pull the car out of into reverse and then into drive. 3-point turn, going, oh fuck. And then start heading meekly over to his actual place. Because the drop-off was not decided for him, now was it, the ST team? So he's going to... I didn't pick the drop-off, the city did. Okay, well, I don't like that necessarily, but alright.
It might occur to Colin that, John knew I was here before I told him, and they know where I am. How?
That was part of what the shut up, we're done with the paranoia for now was for. Yes, thank you.
What you would see is a electric blue electric Jeep parked sort
quiet.
of outside the warehouse. No effort is being made to hide this Jeep.
I'm gonna file that away as, is this potentially a hi, welcome to Philadelphia, we're potentially blowing your cover, or like, do they have another way of concealing the electric blue Jeep somewhere near street lights? How are they going to hide an electric blue Jeep under street lights? Or is this both, I'm drawing attention to you because I can enjoy the dealing with it, or do they have something so good they are confident to drive an electric blue Jeep down a mostly abandoned industrial area? Okay, those gears are turning. And he is going to park inside. Is this parked outside the warehouse or inside the warehouse area? Like
Outside.
You're gonna park
Like close
behind
enough to the warehouse to be easily walkable, far enough away where it's not necessarily there specifically for that warehouse.
Park aside of the street, and then exit out the car, come around the front. Again, looking around casually, more casually than earlier. Gator, Flyers hat, Flyers hoodie. Hands out, not in pockets, hanging. Oh, he mutters, listening to his earpiece. Well, ain't that a fucking treat? Nice little handy message. Welcome to Philadelphia. Thoughts, sweetheart?
They know things. Things we didn't anticipate. They shouldn't be trifled with.
Astute as ever, hon.
It's not technology. It's something else.
That's your read?
I mean, if it's technology, I could find it. I could enter it. I could mess with it. Nothing. Nothing that you don't normally have. Although your browsing history on your phone is very strong.
Oh, of course. You know that I've always got to have those exotic tastes, especially to keep you entertained. That's probably all the time we got as he's walking down the side of the street towards the side of the electric blue Jeep. Not towards the window. Game's still over.
At least you recognize the person in it. It's that blonde lady.
The 6'1" blonde lady.
The one with the antenna, it's Siafra?
Yeah. It's Zebra.
Zebra. Okay. Hello, nice to see you again.
Trust me.
Right.
It took me a while to get it. I still don't spell it right half the time.
Brian, repetition will get it, same as any name. TBI!
So I did kind of take the liberty of placing an order because I kind of saw what happened outside, and you might want to plan ahead for that. I didn't know if you were the kind that liked to make your own smoothie or if you preferred it like already pre-blended, so I just brought some.
Understood, thank you. Do you have thermoses? That's what I've used in the past. I don't have a blender yet. I was going to dice it if I had to in person. But if you have something, or pre-blended, I would accept.
Very good question, Sivra. Is the first one on the house, or is this coming with a price tag?
Well, I did kind of, well, the first one's not usually supposed to be on the house, but since I had it anyway, since I also had to eat tonight, and it's already here, I suppose it wouldn't necessarily be very, political to, well, I guess just this one time. And you're not gonna tell Mrs. Sexton, right? I mean, she'll find out anyway because she's got her eyeballs all over the frickin' Harpy's ledger, but...
Mrs. Sexton was the one who was invisible, or it was Sifa earlier who popped up?
This is a new name. But you would take note that is the same last name as the prince.
I clocked that, and I don't have INT3. No, ma'am, I probably would be telling her, considering that it was made very clear to me I have to report everything to the sheriff that I would be copying.
Oh, well, I guess since I placed the delivery, I'll take it this time. But next time, it usually costs well, for you, it'll probably be minor boons.
I was about to ask.
It tends to be harder to get what you need than to get what other folks need. But also, right. You do know, since I should probably, would you feel better if you just kind of sat in the Jeep and ate and got a little less corpsey?
Yeah, I was going to take any thermos or anything you'd offer me, but he's going to check the door, see if it's locked.
Does she have her passenger door locked?
Currently, no.
Okay.
Click in smell of old corpse briefly for now. If heightened sense has been able to smell it after the window was rolled down, presumably too, as they were having this conversation. Into the passenger seat, window up, and he is going to see what she has to offer. If there's a body in the back, or was she saying she's got a thermos or a cup or something?
She's got what appears to be like one of those little travel blenders, and she's also got a cooler in the back seat, like one of those little styrofoam coolers.
Okay.
The one-time use Walmart cooler.
Yes. So she appears to have both a smoothie and organs.
Smoothies already. She brought both, is what she was saying. Okay, and she's got a portable blender in the thing that's powered. Okay. He will take the first thing that is offered in this instance because he needs to be back to normal as best he can, Is this going to shave off one hunger as one feeding?
How much does she offer him? Enough to slake both, or is it just enough to take the edge off?
It'd probably be enough to slake both.
Okay.
Generous.
So, upon eating, Colin returns to hunger 1, feeling the supernatural flesh and visage return to him. No longer looking like the lead villain in The Mummy.
Sticky if he were pried off of a couch in summer. He comes back to the normal, only one piece of him is messed up appearance. A little bit acne scarred, got the scar on, and the usual look, cataracts back out, and all right, that's a lot better. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So what I was gonna talk to you about, before we got, sort of waylaid by the hungries, does that always happen to you when you get hungry?
After a certain level, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing you had the masks and stuff.
Yep. Being prepared is a good idea. Something I had to get used to. I appreciate it. Kefra.
Right. So, as I was going to say before we got waylaid by that whole like bloated corpse situation, and I don't want you to take this in a way like you owe me or something, because it's not meant that way. This just happens to have come about at about the same time. I just kind of, you should know that if you ever get sick of serving two masters, the city protects its own.
Can I detect with insight whether this is a test from my sire, as that has been done for easily 10 years? Because this is not the first time, I guarantee you, Ryan, somebody has tried to ask that, and it was on the sire's orders.
Yeah, go ahead.
This will be an insight. I just got hunger back. God damn it, this is something he would search. I hate you, Nick. Me, not you. Oh, they're already out of the chat. This is something the character would search.
All right.
Look, we're gonna...
with the blood surge on there, if you remember how to do it as per Fennec's little how-to, the hunger does not increase until after the act. It'll be on the next roll he accrues.
First roll I'm going to make is with my 2 additional dice per the errata for my generation. Then it's going to be... Then my second roll is going to be the blood surge. Okay. Surprise Pikachu face. Booker makes a character that is paranoid. Paranoia happens. Surprise Pikachu face. Wits insight.
Yep. Be a total of 7.
7 hunger 1. Yes! Paranoid character.
This is... You get the... If she's speaking for anybody, it's definitely not your sire. And it's definitely not you-know-who.
We're talking about Al?
Mm-hmm.
No. Daddy and the mom and mommy-daddy relationship. Although that was a very strict mom, too. So... This is possibly the first time he's heard this, or the first time it's more believable than the Hecata, because he's probably dealt with that, and that's too close for his comfort. Although this is a Hecata person, but there's some strange native that he doesn't know about.
With 5 successes, Colin would definitely start to get... No, I see 5.
7, 8, 7, 7.
And the hunger is 7 too.
Oh, I can't count. I'm cray. Okay, cool.
I would definitely say that he is starting to get the vibe that this blonde woman either chooses not to lie or simply doesn't know how.
I don't think I've ever met somebody like you before, and also not the cative thing. Interesting. Thank you for that offer. Can you explain? I would like to subscribe to your newsletter. What more information do you have about that statement?
Sometimes the folks that we share blood with are not necessarily the best folks to be hanging around. And sometimes we don't get that option. We rarely get the option of whose blood we share.
Yeah.
If it comes down to family by blood versus family by choice, well, a lot of people misuse the phrase, blood is thicker than water. The full phrase is, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the waters of the womb. The folks you choose are more important than accidents of nature. The city protects its own.
In the space of a short period of time, Colin Fry has met somebody he thinks genuinely can't lie or is not willing to. A potential test that is not a test of his sire, which he's not expecting. He may still be monitored by ghosts or some other listening device or something that's around, but he's also found out that someone knows his location has not yet exploited it. Though there may have been a little bit of a flashy, I know you're here, but it wasn't more than that little display. We've got that, and he's processing this. A very interesting city. Thank you. I think I'm going to bear this more in mind going forward, as well as looking at that library for that phrase that was expressed. I'd like to keep in touch with you. Do you happen to have a number or secure way of speaking to you in the future?
Well, depending on how far out you are, your friend can always get in touch. Usually they can find me. It's sort of a weird quirk of whatever it is I am on the half of the kindred aspect of things. Or I do have, and she just starts rummaging around in various places in the car and comes out with a business card.
I think that's going to be 4. Yeah.
How dare you describe the inside of my car?
Okay. That might be 5 card. Okay. And the business card?
It just says C for she.
Phone number on it, and I'm guessing, or like an address or something, as well as the fact that she has intimated that spirits can find her easier, or wraiths specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. He's had his meal. He gives her back the cup. Is there anything you need from me right now? And he says, offering cautiously, yes, you.
Me? No, not really. Although you're familiar with how cities and stuff usually work, right? Or were you just raised by folks specifically like you?
Would you be willing to rephrase that?
You seem very surprised by the fact that we just kind of know things. Like you weren't expecting a city where the prince and like his, well, Prince Sexton's wife, she's a Nos, so they just know things.
I had expected there to be a physical presence required or an animal presence required in regards to Nosferatu, not a specific magical ritual or something like that beyond discipline use.
I mean, look around.
Same.
It's not like you picked a place in town where like raccoons or possums or other vermin would be rare.
A very good point.
And for the sake of time, We will say that this conversation continues as long as the two characters wish it, but at the end of the night, Colin departs from the Jeep, heading back into his warehouse, and kind of going over everything that he has soaked up for the evening. Until the rays of light begin to come over the horizon, outlining New Jersey before finally settling on Philadelphia and sending all of our lovely kindred into torpor. And with that, we end this session of Philly by Night. I simply need to scroll back up to end the bot because I did it in the beta like a dum-dum instead of in a channel that wouldn't get filled with things.